let's just sew whatever. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making the Celest Clutch, and my microphone stopped working as I was making this, so I'm really sorry. I added the chain. I used absolutely no interfacing. It's just vinyl for the flap and for the front and back. I used waterproof canvas for the lining, and then I added that overlay. I used some scraps of TheraFuse self-adhesive interfacing. That's it. Okay. You see that thing on my head? That's my microphone, but it's not blinking, which means it's not working. And I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? Okay, enjoy. Let's make it together is what I said. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on cutting out the paper pattern piece. If you wanted this to not be a cut on the fold, you would just print the pattern out twice. Probably not all of the pages, since one of them is just the zippered pocket, but it seems like a really good holiday gift. But that's because it's December right now, but not when you're watching this. Gift? A gift? Oh, I like it. Okay. And then for the zipper pocket, I think instead of cutting it out fully, I'm just going to measure it. So it's about 9.5 by 6. Alright, so cutting this out should be fairly quick. You just need 2 exterior, 2 lining, 2 interfacing, 2 of your lining, zipper pocket, and then 1 exterior of your flap and 1 lining of your flap. I have this scrap of vinyl that's coming to my website soon, if it isn't already right now, in small doses. But I think it'll be perfect for this flap. So I'm just going to lay it down. Normally I use cardstock to print out my pieces, but I printed these out at like midnight from my bed. So I didn't get a chance to change out the paper, but that does make tracing much easier. Yeah. You could also cut this on the fold, but with this vinyl, it's kind of thick, so it's not really the most doable. This is a microfiber backed vinyl, so it does have a bit of a grip to it, which I honestly like that about it. I think it's pretty cool. All right. Let me grab my scissors to cut that out. This vinyl is definitely on the thicker side, so if you have a domestic machine, I would say be careful. Use it in small doses. Just gonna double check that. Oh. Okay, so that is going to be the flap, and then I'm going to use the black Luxe vinyl to go with it. I think this would look really cool if you added like 1/2 inch to this pattern piece and cut out one from one print, one from another, and pieced it together on the front. I think that could look super cool. I don't know that there's a wristlet strap on this, but I will definitely be adding one within like the side seam or something. I am not going to add any extra interfacing to this flap since I am using 2 thicker vinyls. The only interfacing I'm going to use is at the magnetic snap, and I'm just going to use a scrap of the self-adhesive Theratex. I have some somewhere. But let's go ahead and mark out that snap placement on the lining piece. I say lining, but right there. I'm going to fold this in half just so I have my center line marked as well. Alright, so then I need 2 exteriors from this black vinyl. And I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip of this vinyl from over here for my 1/2 inch D-ring connector. So I'm just going to do 3 inches by 1 inch. And there's that. I'll put this in my scrap bin. And then I switched to a silver marking pen to trace out the other piece. I'm not tracing along this whole side, but I am going to mark out the magnetic snap placement. I like to just make little notches within the seam allowance with the silver marking pen to know where to line up the next side. Just like that. And then you can cut that out using scissors or a rotary cutter. This could also make a super cute little crossbody bag. I mean, I have not sewn it yet, so I can't say for sure, but I would think that it would. That seems pretty large. So maybe I'll go ahead and add 2 D-rings and just use like a chain strap or a pre-made strap. Okay. Close enough. And now this side is the back, so I don't need to mark out my snap placement. Ooh, yeah. Alright, so there is front and back. And these silver lines, you can take a wet wipe to, or just kind of the edge of your shirt to make sure they don't smudge. Lining fabric. I think I'm going to use my new black and white, not black and white, black and blue flower print. Uh-oh, uh-oh, oh. Everything my stomach hit. That's fine. I think this will look really pretty. Like, it matches in one light, but not another, but I don't think I hate that about it. Anybody else just have stuff literally everywhere? All of us. Right. And so for this, we just need the lining and the zippered pocket. So 9.5. I just do like 9 by 6. Because I think I'm gonna do a little zippered overlay. Okay, zipper pocket. And for the lining, I'm just going to lay this over all. It's technically 4 pieces of fabric at the moment, but it'll be 2. I'm cutting it on the fold through both layers. So that's everything cut out except for my overlay. If that's 9 wide, then I want my zipper overlay to also be 9 wide. So we'll do 9 wide. Need a square that's 9 wide by 2 tall. I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch in from each end. So I mark out those lines on the short ends, and then I lay the ruler down, cutting as close to but not past those 3/4 lines. and then cut through to the rest. And there you have your overlay. And then if you wanted to, you could use this as a little zipper pull. Doot. Okay, so that is everything we need to cut out, and now we are ready to go sew it. So like I said in the beginning, my microphone cut out, or it stopped working when I went to go sew, and I had no idea. So I started by cutting out the darts on the exterior in the corners on both pieces, and installing the magnetic snap to the front of the flap on the lining side and the front of the exterior of the bag. I used the self-adhesive Theratex, which is great. You can either install it under the washer or over the washer or both, which is what I have done on the exterior because I remembered to do so. It's only difficult to peel off because it's the original plastic backing that was sent as a sample. So we're going to start by using a like 3/8 inch seam allowance around the flap. And then I trimmed down using pinking shears so that the curves would sit nicely. Then we're going to turn that wrong sides together and press, making sure the curves are pressed out nicely. Roll that seam in between your fingers and clip. And then we're going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the outer edge. I also closed the flap, but if you wanted to, you could leave it open and then add your magnetic snap. Top stitching first. We're going to set that aside and sew the darts on our exterior. And then I added my nameplate about 3 inches down from the top. And you could also add a little scrap of interfacing over that. Make those darts. I actually like this video being super fast because there's not a lot going on. Put right sides together to attach your flap. And then you're going to sew those sides together after adding your strap connectors. This is not part of the pattern. I just added 1/2 inch D-rings, and I placed them about 1.75 inches down from the top edge. I think it would be smarter to base these in place before sewing all those layers together, but I am stubborn and did it anyway. And then just a 3/8 inch seam allowance all the way around. You can trim at the curves if you'd like. It'll sit a little nicer, but I didn't want to risk clipping them. So I'm going to pick out a zipper tape that matches nicely and attach my zipper pull using my zipper jig, which as of Wednesday, December 21st, when I'm recording this, is still not available. I am adding a zipper overlay, and to do that I add my linings to my zipper, top stitch them down, and then I top stitch the overlay in place on my lining, adding plenty of double-sided tape, and I added a Rickroll woven label. You can see how well that vinyl matches that blue in this light. Like when it shifts, it's so pretty. I love it. Trimming away the lining ever so gently, and then adding double-sided tape, lining up one side first and then peeling off the other tape, and then top stitching around, and then pulling my zipper pull back in, carefully closing it off, pulling the threads, trimming off that excess, flipping that up, and top stitching just along either side of the zipper, but leaving it open because we need to turn the bag through it. And then we can sew our darts on all the linings. All the linings, like there's more than 2 of them. Line those up. I like to butterfly open those seams. If you wanted to leave a turning hole larger in the lining, you absolutely could, but it's not necessary. And then I trimmed down the excess just along the bottom curve, turned it right side out, and placed it inside the exterior of the bag. Butterfly open the side seam, clip all the way around, make sure everything sits nicely. And then I sewed with about a 5/8 inch seam allowance, probably 1/2 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch. And then I just turned it right sides out. Yep, turned it. There it is. See, I told you I did it. Making sure everything sits nicely, rolling that seam back and forth and clipping, making sure it fits nice. Put your hand in the zipper pocket to push out all of those seams before you close it up. I'm going to close it up before I top stitch so I don't forget. And then you could flip this either direction to top stitch. I find it easier to just lay it flat on my machine like that, but it might not feel right to you. I just prefer to see the exterior than the interior. Like, I want to know the top stitching on the exterior is going to look good. And this is why people have cylinder arms. It's why I have a cylinder arm, but I don't use it. But anyway, so that's the bag. I added a chain from Indo Love Creations, and it looks awesome, and I can't wait to give it to somebody. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, bye.